Brooklyn Independent Television.
Because of plaques like this, many people know about the famous actors, authors, poets, and playwrights in Brooklyn Heights. But there's a hidden Heights you may not know of. We caught up with Homer Fink for a special tour.
Hello, I'm John Lascalzo. My friends call me Homer Fink. Let's find out some of the hidden sights in Brooklyn Heights. This is usually where we start Homer Fink's Hidden Brooklyn Heights tour, in front of St. Anne's and the Holy Trinity Church. In 1904, a cat named John Howard Melish became rector. In 1938, his son, William Howard Melish, became assistant rector, and that's when all heck broke loose. Like many members of his generation, Howard was a member of a communist organization in the 1930s. Now, post-World War II America, during the Cold War, folks didn't really like communists that much. And as a matter of fact, the vestry actually wanted Howard out. It got so bad that they fired his dad, but on his way out, he named Howard to be the rector of the church. This caused a decade-long struggle amongst the entire church on what to do. It was nuts. As a matter of fact, two of Brooklyn Heights celebrity residents, Arthur Miller and W.E.B. Du Bois, were Melish's biggest supporters. Miller was so inspired by the scandal that he adapted Ibsen's An Enemy of the People for Broadway, saying that it mirrored the entire controversy so well, down to the muddle-headed stubbornness of its main characters. In other words, they were thick. You know, at the beginning of Homer Fink's Hidden Brooklyn Heights walking tour, we asked to play a game called Spot the Commie. And in that photo, the commie is on the left. Ironic, isn't it? So at the height of the controversy, the Archdiocese of Long Island decides, you know what, we're going to send a substitute rector to Holy Trinity to hold services because we really don't like this Melish character because he's a commie, and we all know what happened with the commies. They took over the whole country. We're all standing in line for toilet paper now. It's horrible. Oh, wait. They didn't win. But anyway, that's not the point. So, substitute dude is up on the pulpit one Sunday morning at 11 o'clock Mass. Melish is feet away at a lectern. Substitute dude shouts out to his followers, read Psalm 118. Melish shouts out another psalm. Melish followers read what they want to read. The other guy's followers read what they want to read. Melish wins this conflict and ends the whole service solo. Other guy just kind of walks away with his tail between his legs. The New York Times wrote a story called The Pierrepont, a Brooklyn horror house, a serious annoyance. And this quote from one of the neighbors.
It's unbelievable. The whores shout down from the windows to their pimps on the sidewalk, and the pimps shout back. Sometimes the girls hang out of their windows stark naked. Drunks and addicts stagger across the street.
This is bad news bears, my friends. This was happening right here at the Pierrepont, in a respectable neighborhood like Brooklyn Heights. But also, what else was going on? In the basement, a so-called gay club. Man's Country operated out of the basement. It featured a pool, a sauna, a dance floor, and the legendary cross-dressing punk rock band, the New York Dolls, played here once. David Johansen, your mom may know him as Buster Poindexter, said it was really weird. It was a bunch of old dudes sitting around in towels, maybe not wearing much more than that. So they're doing the show, and he pulls one of those hobby horses, you know those things you ride when you're a kid, and gives it to Arthur Killer Kane, the bassist, and he rides it around, and they do the gig, and Johansen said it was the strangest gig the New York Dolls ever played. Now, for those of you who are students of rock and roll history, that is saying a lot. Today, the Pierrepont is home to the Brooklyn Heights Association, the Brooklyn Women's Exchange, even Brooklyn DA Charles Hines has an office here, not to mention, my friend TK Small is here, super attorney. Now it's very respectable, and there's really not much going on that we know of. Tell you a couple of quick things about Willow Street. That's number 155. Arthur Miller lived there in the 50s. He lived there with his wife Mary. Around the same time, he started maybe having an affair at Marilyn Monroe. Now, Arthur also wrote a view from the bridge when he lived here because he used to walk down to the docks in Red Hook, and that's where he got the idea for the longshoremen, smuggling the illegal aliens and all that crazy stuff. Also, Willow Street, the largest stock of pre-Civil War houses in all of Brooklyn Heights, right on the street. Okay, now, let's go to the Leverage Towers Hotel and talk about the king of all Yiddish radio, Victor Becker. Come on. The Leverage Towers Hotel opened in 1926. It's It's now owned by the Watchtower. You know them as Jehovah's Witnesses. But the hidden history of the Leverage Towers was almost completely lost until the early 90s, when the guys working on the Yiddish radio project got a phone call from a widow living in Queens. The phone call probably went something like this. Bring, bring. Hello, Yiddish radio project.
Hello, I'm living in Queens, and I have all these old acetates of my husband. He was like a radio guy or something. You want it?
Yes. So they ran over, they got the old acetates, they started listening to them. And what was on those acetates were recordings of WLTH radio, which broadcast from the Leverage Towers on the mezzanine deck. They had a state-of-the-art studio for 1930-ish to 1942-ish. And the acetates were of this guy, Victor Packer. His job, put stuff on the air, and he did. He did the game show, he did a kids show, he did radio dramas, he did, what else, news, and he did remote broadcasts. So he would schlep, because it was a Yiddish radio station, these giant early 40s recording machines which weighed like a refrigerator, like really big. And he would interview, whoever was shopping like at a grocery store. Interviews would go something like this. So, excuse me, would you marry a smart man or a strong man?
Well, a strong man can lift furniture and stuff, but a smart man can earn enough money to hire the strong man, so I'd marry a man with brains.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show. Here's a 4-pound bag of salt. I'm not making this up. You could listen to the air checks and the tapes on Brooklyn Heights blog or the Yiddish Radio Project, and you'll be amazed at exactly how accurate that was. Anywho, I'm John Moscalzo, aka Homer Fink. Please come on Homer Fink's Hidden Brooklyn Heights Walking Tour. Find information at brooklynheightsblog.com, cobblehillblog.com, or thebrooklynbugle.com. I'm now walking away to give you, the home viewer, and the folks in the control room a smooth transition.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.